I thought that the term breathless with rage was just something that people use for dramatic purposes. I did not know that it was something that you could actually feel. But yesterday, when I saw the parade of leaders congratulating themselves for an upcoming ceasefire of a genocide that they paid for, that they abetted, that they provided political coverage, was so insanely infuriating that I found myself breathless with rage. Let's start with genocidal grandpa over here. The Palestinians went through hell, he said, whilst giving the Israeli government more than $25 billion to create that hell. More money apparently than it would take to end homelessness in America for a year. A man with a team whose messianic sense of self allowed them to bypass the murder of more than 69,000 civilians, according to The Lancet. Not because he couldn't stop it, but because he wouldn't. And who has spent the last months trying to save his legacy of failure by trying to appear human. And then there's this Zionist human rights lawyer. His cabinet of lawyers who generated the consent for the destruction of the international norms when it comes to war. By parroting, Israel has a right to defend itself. Writing a statement so shameless in its partisanship, emphasizing the suffering and the grieving of Israelis, and not even trying to feign the same sentiment for Palestinians. Who actually continuously authorized the sales of weapons in contravention not only of international law, but of British law. Then you have Olaf Scholz and Annalena Baerbock, single-handedly managed to destroy the reputation that Germany built for decades as a country who had learned something from the genocide that they carried out, by turning Germany into an anti-Palestinian police state. And showing us all that knowing the shape of something and the spirit of something are two different things. The sad thing is that I could go on. I could go on for hours. I could focus not only on politicians, I could focus on artists. I could focus on our media that stood silent while scores of journalists were gunned down and who stood supine and unchallenging the continuous and egregious violations that Israel carried out not only in Gaza but across the Middle East. Publications like the New York Times, who still hasn't made itself accountable for generating consent for the murder of Palestinians through an article that alleged sexual assault, even though the Israeli public prosecutor didn't bring one case of sexual assault on October the 7th. My heart soared yesterday for just the possibility of peace, whilst bombs are still raining in Gaza. But I'll be damned if I forget the echoing silences. I'll be damned if I forgive any of the people who collaborated actively with this. That by doing so, were they not only complicit on a genocide, they literally destroyed any semblance of the existence of international law. They destroyed every single checks and balances that theoretically kept us safe, on their heads and on their hands, belie every single bloody offshoot that will come from this. Forever.